Okay, let's create a uniform function. So, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do that too. We're gonna create functions. So we're gonna create an array. I'll try to type as light as possible. Okay, I created an array. We're gonna reverse this array. So we're gonna use a for loop. Argument. Alright, cool. Let's click that array. We're on console log. This function has no name either, so. Do not use print. Print is actually a function, so you go here. I have to bring up your print screen. Oops. I'll show you a printer like that. So that's what that does. So if, well, you learned something today. So that prints in console. So you can't use print ever. Is it recording? Yeah. I don't edit these. I just go through them. So you're gonna see me mad lib. So let's go. Let's call this guy. Let's copy and paste this. Print reverse. And I'll show you what it does, and I'll walk you through it. What I did. I'm sorry for not explaining because I type really loud. Some guy complained. So, and it's like a midnight kind of a thing. I'll try to produce better videos in the future. I'm gonna get more cash. Bam. That's what it does. That's pretty not. You can see that. Sorry about that, guys. Heroku. I can't remove this guy. I should have a trick. See that? It's gone. Hacker trick. So what I did was, don't worry about it. So yeah, I'm a programmer. That's how you know. Anyways, let's start. So first of all, this is an array, right? You store an array in an array, and I put 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I create a function. This guy, function. I'll show you how to write a function. A function is just, and you can name the function anything. It's best to name the function. If not, it'll be an anonymous function and you can't call it anywhere because you don't name it anything. Then how are you gonna know what you're gonna do with it? Okay. So next is a for loop. So for loop is basically a loop that keeps on going. So we have a for loop in there. So we're gonna start with I, and the length of this is 3. Let's go in. Let's see, array. Let's do this. call. Let's try that guy. The red thing is 4 from here. So let's see what happens when we print it out without the -1. So it can't start at 3. So this variable is a start. So basically the for loop formula is basically the start variable. Next is a condition and increment or decrement. But in this case it's decrement. Okay. And next, we're gonna console log the entire array from here. So let's do it without the -1. It's gonna get an undefined. Watch. I can't realize these tutorials are like, see, undefined. You don't want that. You want the -1. And let me refresh this. Let me clear everything. This is how you can tell people this. Let's try this again. Why is 1 still printing? Oh, it's undefined because this function is undefined. That's right. Okay. Yeah. And that's the first function. Next, we're gonna do compare uniformity. So we're basically gonna check if like all these are 1. So we're gonna get like a true or a false. So start it. Function. Let's call this uniform. And we give it an array. Next, we're going to start from the array. I always get this mixed up. We're going to start there. We're going to create a for loop. I already give you a formula. We're going to start at number 1. Because we started at 0 already, so we might as well start at 1. And then you count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in arrays. And then the array length. So this is a conditional. And we're going to increment, add 1 every single time. So we're going to do conditional inside. We're going to check if the array is same as the first. If it's not, then we're going to return. So if it's not the same as that, we're going to return false. And if this is all true, if it's all false, if it keeps on checking, then it's returned true, which is what we want because we're checking if all the arrays are the same. So we're going to also, yeah, let's leave it like that. Run it. I should just copy and paste it. See if anything breaks. That's good. In form, we're going to pass in an array. True. Do it again. Put 2. False. We're going to do it again. Put 2 in the front. False. So this thing compares if everything in the array is true or false. So, and that's how you compare uniformity. Next, we're going to create a we're going to sum all the arrays. That's our next function. So let's do it. Okay. Okay, this is what I did. I created a function, named it SumArray, create argument array, and we're going to start the total at 0. And we're going to use a forEach, which is in the other tutorial. We're going to watch it. Yeah, it has to be like that. It's totally fine. Okay. Sorry about the ugly formatting. So, this is the function. So, we're going to start at 0. It's going to count the array. This is going to count the array. So, if the array is like 3 or 1 or 4, it's going to loop it that many times, depending on how big the array is. And then we're going to use a forEach. The forEach is going to pass in a function, and the function will, in this case, it's going to add every single array in the function. Let's give that a go. And this is how you sum everything. Will I provide source? Think about it. Sum array 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? 4, 8, 13. It should bring out 13. Bam. My function works. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 6. So that is my sum array function using forEach. You can do this with the for loop, but this is shorter code and it's easier to use, and I'll look up the documentation on the forEach for you. Yes, that's me. Pretty boy. Just kidding. Alright, so I already explained that. So this is the first part. This part is very important because you gotta figure out which array to grab. So current value, index, arrays, for each being applied. It's like, oh, it's like extending. It's like this is a method of that array. Let me do for each and underscores. Should have a for each in here, actually. Union first. They don't have for each. They do have for each. There's a method. I think they built it in after they looked at this stuff. Find sorry about this slow tutorial. This one, there we go. There it is for each. This is how they built it. Oh, they created underscore each. So I should do something similar. So this is a function. If you want to ever like figure out like why these things work, you can always look at underscores and like learn new stuff from these guys. So if is this, you do this, else you do that, and you return an object. Oh, the reason for return is return can store in a variable. If you just do like a declared function, like an undeclared function, like a function without return, it can be stored, like function like. Oops, like function hi console log hi there, and something like that. Oh wait, oops. Yeah, you can't. Right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, it's not that well formed. Okay, we're gonna create another function to compare. We're gonna create a function that finds the maximum number in an array. Okay. Create a function. Let's call this guy max. Arguments in an array. Max equals to first number. We're gonna compare that one. We're gonna do a forEach, no for loop. We're gonna start with 1. Oh crap, I spelled that wrong. Okay. Okay, here's the magic. We're gonna do an if statement. Okay. Alright, here's a function. So basically, if the it's gonna look through all the arrays. If it's a maximum, if like the array is greater than the previous maximum, it's gonna store it in the maximum variable, and then after that, if nothing is greater than the maximum variable, it's gonna return the largest number. So that's what that does. I'll try to explain it again. That's a pretty bad explanation because I'm tired. Boom. Try that. 3. Boom. Okay, let's do it again. Sorry. Let's walk us through it one more time because so we create a function. We called it max. Function right here. Create an argument. And we assign a variable so it has somewhere to store and compare it to. And we start with the first one, which is 0, the first number. And then we create a loop. And then we keep on looping it until we find the largest number. So with the if statement, so if the looped array is larger than the max, the current max over here, then it's going to be a new max. And as we store it here, it's going to keep on looking until it finds a maximum number. When it finds a maximum number, I'll return the max. So equals max. Done. And finally, okay, we're going to do the regular print the array. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Let's do that. Come on, man. Why you covering that up? Or to your second line. This is some JavaScript magic. CSS magic. Let me disappear too. I don't like you. Oops. And that is how you remove it. Take that, CSS ninjas of the world. I make you disappear. Ha! Take that. Anyways, I'm gonna paste this. We're gonna create an array. No, we're gonna push just a Google. I hope this works. Print array, and we're going to print it regularly. Tries with strings. Eat pie. Yum. Amazing. Simply amazing. And I am done with this tutorial. Until next time. Actually, you know what else you can do with this? You can store this in a function. We'll call this guy the loopy, and then we could call this guy. Wait, I'm sorry. What's the point of that? Yeah, there's no point of that. It's dumb. It's not dry at all. Okay, I show what array length does. Why? So let's clear this guy. So, that'd be 3 objects in that array. That's what it does. And you can learn more about arrays. JavaScript. Yeah, you can learn all about the array. Splice in here. Splices in here. Shift. Join's pretty cool, actually. Join removes spaces and stuff. So let's do join. Why not? First of all, since this channel is me, we're gonna create an array. Let's create an array. Full name. Let's camel case it. Should put a space in the middle though. Okay. Next, we're gonna create this full name. Join. I should really store it somewhere though. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Bam. Oh crap! I didn't store it anymore though. I should store it somewhere. No, what's my full name again? His name at for console. And then I console log my full name with a space. So join can remove the space, add a space, add a plus. It's basically converting an array into a string. That's what join does. So it's pretty awesome. And you can learn more about array functions in documentation. Look at the code, see what it does, and see what it plops out. Don't be afraid of documentation. Push, pop. Pop removes an array. Push is reduce. What does reduce do? I think reduce adds the previous and the current. So like back and forth, back and forth. That's what reduce does. Previous to return A and B, 6. Concat. It added all of them. Concat always means add. I should start learning ES6. It's really like less code for like more things done. Anyways, I'm done with this tutorial. Until next time, guys.